Have you ever wondered what would happen if everything we thought we knew about ancient North America turned out to be incomplete? What if, beneath the quiet streets of an ordinary Texas town, there was something so unusual that scientists, geologists, historians, and archaeologists have spent more than a century debating what it really is? Stay with me until the end, because we're going to uncover the evidence piece by piece, explore what modern scientific instruments actually detected beneath the ground, hear what experts from different fields have said over the decades, and then leave the final judgment to you. By the time this story is over, you'll understand why one small town in Texas continues to spark one of the most fascinating mysteries in American history. In northeastern Texas sits the town of Rockwall, a peaceful community that appears no different from countless others across the state. Families go about their daily lives. Businesses open every morning. Children attend school, and traffic moves through streets that give little hint of what may lie beneath them. Yet this town carries a name unlike almost any other in America, and that name comes from something buried underground. Long before shopping centers, neighborhoods, and highways existed, settlers digging into the earth repeatedly encountered something that looked remarkably like an enormous stone wall. They didn't know what it was, but they knew it was unusual enough to give their settlement its name. More than 170 years later, the mystery remains just as compelling. The story truly entered the scientific spotlight decades after those early discoveries. In the late 20th century, researchers arrived with technology far more advanced than the simple tools available to 19th century settlers. Rather than relying on appearances alone, they used sensitive instruments capable of detecting hidden features beneath the surface without extensive excavation. One of those tools was a magnetometer, an instrument designed to measure subtle changes in the Earth's magnetic field. Archaeologists around the world have used magnetometers to locate ancient villages, buried roads, forgotten temples, and long-lost cities, because human activity often leaves behind magnetic signatures that survive for centuries. When scientists surveyed the ground beneath Rockwall using this technology, they found something that immediately attracted attention. The readings revealed long, continuous anomalies extending beneath the town in ways that appeared surprisingly organized. Instead of isolated patches, the magnetic signals suggested a connected formation stretching across multiple locations where earlier excavations had exposed sections of the mysterious wall. Additional surveys using electrical resistivity added more information by measuring how underground materials resisted electrical currents. Together, these techniques painted a picture of something extensive beneath the surface. The geological explanation dates back more than a century. One of the earliest experts to examine the formation concluded that it was a natural feature known as a sandstone dike, sometimes called a clastic dike. According to this theory, ancient sand deep underground was forced upward through fractures in clay under enormous pressure. Over immense periods of time, the sand hardened into stone while the surrounding sediments gradually eroded away, revealing the vertical formation. Modern geological studies continue to support this explanation. Researchers have demonstrated how the surrounding clay could have filled narrow gaps, creating seams that resemble mortar between stacked blocks. From a geological perspective, the process is entirely possible and requires no lost civilization or forgotten builders. Nature has produced remarkable rock formations throughout the world that appear surprisingly artificial. Yet Rockwall continues to stand apart from many other known sandstone dikes. Geologists have documented thousands of similar formations worldwide, particularly in places like Japan and California. Most of them twist, branch, curve, and wander through the surrounding rock without any obvious pattern. They often appear irregular and chaotic because they simply follow natural fractures created deep underground. Rockwall, however, has long attracted attention because many exposed sections appear unusually straight, remarkably consistent, and arranged in layers that resemble courses of stone blocks. Even researchers who accept the natural explanation frequently acknowledge that this formation possesses characteristics unlike many ordinary sandstone dikes. That doesn't necessarily mean it was built by humans, but it does explain why the debate has persisted for so many decades. Throughout the 20th century, different investigators reached different conclusions after examining the site. Some believed they were looking at evidence of an ancient human-made structure, Others remained convinced that geology alone could explain everything visible in the trenches. Interestingly, even several skeptical researchers avoided claiming the mystery had been completely solved. Instead, they emphasized that only limited portions of the formation had ever been closely examined. One archaeologist visiting during the 1920s argued confidently that the exposed sections represented prehistoric construction. His conclusion generated excitement in newspapers, but also attracted criticism from other scholars who believed he had reached his verdict too quickly. Later investigations became much more cautious, focusing on careful measurements and geological evidence rather than dramatic announcements. In the late 20th century, another detailed study examined exposed sections and concluded they were natural. Yet even that investigation stopped short of declaring every part of the formation fully understood. Researchers recognized an important limitation that continues to affect the mystery today. Almost no one has been able to study the entire structure, because doing so would be nearly impossible. That obstacle may be the single biggest reason the debate has never been settled. The wall doesn't lie beneath empty wilderness waiting to be excavated. Instead, much of it extends beneath privately owned land, residential neighborhoods, businesses, roads, and public infrastructure. Excavating every suspected section would require removing homes, disrupting lives, purchasing private property, and effectively tearing apart much of the modern town. Because of these practical limitations, nearly every glimpse scientists have obtained comes from isolated discoveries. Construction crews digging foundations uncover one section. Homeowners drilling wells expose another. Utility work reveals another small portion before the trench is filled back in. Each discovery offers only a brief window into something much larger, before everyday life resumes above it. Imagine trying to understand an enormous puzzle while being allowed to examine only a handful of scattered pieces. That is essentially the challenge researchers face in Rockwall. Every exposed section provides valuable information, but none reveals the complete picture. Visitors today can still see part of the formation preserved in a local park, where recovered stones have been assembled for public viewing. Standing before those blocks, it becomes easier to understand why generations of observers immediately describe them as wall-like. The stones appear stacked, layered, and surprisingly orderly. Whether that order resulted from natural geological forces or something else remains the central question. The earliest settlers had no scientific theories to defend. They weren't trying to rewrite history or prove sensational claims. They were farmers, builders, and families, attempting to establish homes on the Texas frontier. When they encountered the formation while digging wells in the 1850s, they simply described what they believed they saw. To them, it looked like a wall. That first impression proved remarkably enduring. Instead of fading into local folklore, it became immortalized in the town's very name. Every map, every highway sign, every mailing address quietly preserves the memory of those early discoveries. The town itself serves as a constant reminder that something unusual beneath the ground captured people's attention long before modern scientific instruments entered the story. Over the past century, archaeology has repeatedly demonstrated that ancient civilizations often accomplished far more than earlier generations believed possible. Monumental sites once dismissed as impossible have eventually been accepted after careful investigation uncovered overwhelming evidence. At the same time, geology has shown that natural forces are capable of producing formations so extraordinary they can easily fool the human eye. Rockwall sits precisely at the intersection of those two realities. On one side stands a robust geological explanation, supported by modern research and laboratory analysis. On the other stands a formation whose appearance continues to challenge intuition and inspire questions that remain difficult to answer completely. Perhaps the most fascinating aspect of this mystery isn't whether the wall was built by people or created entirely by nature. It's the reminder that science is an ongoing process rather than a collection of permanent answers. Every new survey, every construction project, every exposed section has the potential to add another piece to the puzzle. Researchers don't stop asking questions simply because one explanation seems likely. Instead, they continue gathering evidence, testing ideas, and refining their understanding as new information becomes available. For now, the underground formation remains largely hidden beneath homes, streets, and neighborhoods. Most residents go about their daily routines without giving much thought to what lies below their foundations. Yet somewhere beneath their feet stretches one of America's most debated geological mysteries, waiting quietly beneath layers of soil just as it has for countless generations. The story of Rockwall remains one of the most intriguing mysteries in Texas. Beneath quiet streets and ordinary homes lies a formation that has inspired scientists, geologists, archaeologists, historians, and curious visitors alike. Whether it is an extraordinary work of nature or something even more remarkable, one fact is beyond dispute. Beneath this Texas town rests a mystery that continues to capture imaginations around the world. And maybe that's what makes it so unforgettable. Not that we already have every answer, but that the ground beneath Rockwall continues to invite us to keep asking the questions.